Hello there. Namaste. So, I just finished watching the series, The Railwaymen, and I gotta say, this is incredibly impactful and powerful. I would say it's a great series. I would say it's a good series, but it's the fact that it's based off true events that kind of that kind of make it hesitant for me to say that, because that doesn't feel right to say, oh, this is so amazing, and oh, this tragedy happened. I'm enjoying it. That's not the case, but witnessing because I was watching it, and I'm working on the editing, and it's just insane how something like this can go. And I love how this was done. I liked how they did the narrative. I liked how it shows both the amazing small group of people in the world, which basically are heroes, the real heroes. And then there are those others who are normal, who just panic. And then there are the ones who are extreme. It's insane, because apparently what's going on at the very beginning, I love the cold opens because they kind of give a parallel of how it actually, because at the very beginning they have like a parallel between old footage. I think it was old footage, like actual old footage, and then the brand new retaken footage. And I thought that was pretty well done, because at the very beginning that nothing happened. Nothing was done for the incident that took out 15,000 people and crippled and ruined the lives of a multitude of others. It was insane to start with that and be like, okay, what the heck happened? And it's a toxic gas leak, and gas is one of the most, it's not like an explosion. It's not like what's going on. You would just start seeing people, and it does it so well. This show does it so well. When people start collapsing, it is scary. It would absolutely be scary, because you would see people outside a window, just everyone vomiting and throwing up, and just, same thing I said twice, but yeah, just collapsing right then and there, eyes bleeding, and it's just absolutely disturbing. And the fact that it's just like an American company wanted to create chemicals, which honestly would have been illegal to create on U.S. soil. And that's the thing. It was like, I've heard the excuse where it's like, oh, we create jobs for other third world countries. We give them opportunities. They lied to themselves, because it's not about that. When it comes to companies building factories and things outside of the U.S., it's all about making a profit. It's all about not having to pay or being able to cut corners, because there are things that can't be done that would never be allowed here in the U.S. That would never be allowed. I mean, there's a reason why most vehicles that operate throughout the world cannot be driven on U.S. soil, because you would get fined for it not meeting whatever. So that's why factories or companies will create factories outside of it, just so they can get away with certain things. And it's disgusting to see. Absolutely disgusting, because it's just like the one thing is, nobody was trained. Nobody knew about the job. Everyone was just like, oh, thought we were supposed to clean the pipes. That just means running water through the pipes. Oh, did you know that you were supposed to attach this? Did you know you were supposed to do this? Well, no one ever taught us that. It's insane, that the fact that kind of stuff. And the supervisor who was in charge of the cleaner, and this is the first episode, has no clue on how to do stuff. For 3 months, if you know anything about chemicals, and this kind of introduces it, you have to burn off any excess so it doesn't get contaminated or do anything to the air. You burn it off. And the fact that their torches, the fact that their flame towers had been out for 3 months. 3 months. It was absolutely insane. Like, it's just, I've worked jobs where the one thing they'll always talk about is how safety is the number one priority. Safety is the number one priority. But when it comes down to it, nobody cares about it. Nobody pays attention to the safety as long as they can get their job done. And that happens with it's just like insane. Insane how that is around everywhere. But this show did such an amazing job, because the gas leaks, so many lives start to get lost. And the one guy at the very beginning, the guy who was trying to leak the information that it was basically going to happen, this is all going to, he was, because a life was already lost, and wanted to make sure the company got shut down, or the factory got shut down. Sure, people would lose jobs, but it's better than people losing lives. And it's going through it. It was a tough, very, very, very tough to watch. Very tough. Because in the first episode, they also introduced that Sikhs are being hunted. I honestly don't know the history as to why that is. It seemed like something happened and then everyone just blamed all Sikhs, or not everyone. Sorry, that's a certain faction blamed Sikhs, and they were basically showing the monstrosity of humanity through this show. And it was so well done because everyone, like, that's the thing. I know, like, I would like to think I would be the hero who would sacrifice myself for others. I like to think I'd be the station manager who would do everything I could to help save as many lives as possible. But let's be honest, how many of us would actually do that? I think I would be the one guy who would panic every time the station manager walked out of the room. Every time the constable walked out of the room. It really does grind it down to humanity's basic instinct. There are very few of us who actively would go into a terrible zone. Of course, going into it, you feel safer because you go in knowing, rather than just being in it and panicking and seeing the death all around you. This show did a great job of encapsulating what it is, like the human mind, how it works, the way we become barbarians. We'll trample over each other just to try to find a modicum of safety, even though there is no safety. We will destroy our own safe areas out of panic. It is absolutely crazy the way it goes into the mindset of it, because this show literally shows like everyone's just living their life. Everyone's just living their life. There's a thief who's planning on robbing the train station. There's the station manager who's basically taking care of it, wanting to make sure he does his job. His son is trying to find a job at the toxic company that ends up springing a leak. There are so many little stories going on. There are those guys who are hunting down a Sikh child to eradicate him. It's just insane, all this stuff that's going on. And it's amazingly well done because I couldn't stop myself. I just kept watching and kept watching and kept watching because it's just like insane. It's encouraging and discouraging at the same time. There had scenes which made me laugh because there's one part where this guy is completely complaining, constantly. He's another station manager, not the main one. He's just off in another town. He's constantly complaining. And then you find out later that he has 32 family members. And then the guy who asked him the question is just like, okay, that explains why you're angry. And it made me laugh. And then the guy goes off to do a very heartfelt speech about how he's going to be idiotic going into chemical waste field, basically risking his life to save other people. The show did it so well. The show is absolutely phenomenal. I can't believe that this I had no clue about this. I remember them mentioning this in Family Man. I remember them mentioning this incident, and I'm just like, oh, okay. The Bhopal incident. Okay. And then this comes out, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, how have I never heard of this? How has this? Because they show like in 1946, I think that, not, I mean 1996. Sorry, 1996. They go to the future of it on one of the cold opens, and show how they're living their life. How one woman's life was completely destroyed. She lost her husband. Her child was basically malformed, had issues, would never be able to provide for his mother. Was just, it's tragic, absolutely tragic. And she's only getting like 300 rupees a month. She lost everything, and they're refusing to pay. And of course, the ones got clean. The freaking American who's literally positioned there as the manager is just trying to toe the company line. The way he talks makes it seem like he never bothered to get to know the people around him. He saw it all as just not a part of him. He never bothered to integrate himself with the community. So he's towing, because I feel like he's towing the company line because he feels like if he says anything against the company, he would be left there and left. Well, honestly, he was probably left as a scapegoat anyway. But he would just be left there. Absolutely, just left behind. It's just like, okay, you've betrayed the company. You've risked this. It's just, there's so much stuff in this show that just I cannot wrap my head around it. I can wrap my head around it. But I cannot say how much I recommend this show. It's probably just you'd probably only be able to get through it once. It is that kind of thing. It is that kind of it hurts to watch type of thing. Because even at the very end, there's a scene where someone because they start burning the bodies, they start burying the bodies. One of the bodies they had lined up to burn gets up and starts running around. It happens to be and in my mind, I'm thinking, how many other people were falsely checked? And I started thinking, it was just like, how many people were buried? Maybe, hopefully none. But maybe there is a small possibility after that incident that there might have been some whose body was still fighting the infection, was still fighting it all. And the sad thing is that there was a simple cure for it. Nobody bothered to call. Everyone tried to close their doors and be like, nope, we can't do anything. We can't do anything. And I loved how it didn't just paint America as the bad guy, which, let's be honest, the company was. But it was the officials of the railway company, like the head departments were like, they were paid off to keep their silence. Most of them. The one who basically went on into it. There were people who were on the take from the beginning. Like there was officers basically not attacking, but strong-arming a reporter because he was telling the truth about the factory. He was talking about how it would explode. It was basically whatever. Wait, it says that all at the very end. How he had been talking about it for years. How it was a powder keg ready to explode, and nobody listened to him. And then finally it does. So many lives are lost, and it's just nobody's held accountable. Nobody's held accountable. And one thing that was insane is just like how much stuff was paid to get by. You just paid people off. Because there was the part where the reporter got papers that said all the problems that were with the factory. And then you find out something. It's just like, how were they able to pay that off? Well, of course. When you can pay anything off and you have the money to pay it off, you just do that. You just do that. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. It's a tough show to watch, but it's also absolutely worth it. Oh my gosh. I've rambled on for so long, but this show, I can't recommend it enough. Honestly, probably just once. It's worth watching once. Just to see what kind of thing can happen with chemicals. Chemicals are no joke. I've known people who have mixed chemicals and have basically exposed themselves to toxic gas because they didn't know what was in each container and they were just mixing them by accident. They put down a layer of one thing and then spray a layer of something else. It's important to know what's in this stuff. It's incredibly important because that kind of stuff can take your life without you being aware that it did it. It could destroy your inner organs. It could destroy a lot of you without you being aware. Eventually, if you're doing certain chemicals, you'll start coughing, let's say, or you'll have trouble breathing. You're still operating fine. You still eat. You still drink. You don't feel feverish. You don't feel cold. And the next thing you know, you'll go to the doctor and you find out certain things are not working properly. Chemicals are a danger. And it's funny how it's like, what is it? There's a law, not a law, but it's like a national, a worldwide decree that no one would ever use chemical warfare. But let's face it, this movie is like a staple to let you know why it should never be used. Because just saying no one will ever use it will not mean no one will ever use it. That's the funny, not funny. That's the sad part. People will use whatever they can, and if it sends a statement, they're more likely to use it because it's disgusting, it's dirty, it's ugly, and this show does a great job of painting it. And I was curious as to why it was called Railwaymen. It's because it's the railwaymen who do what they can to save the lives, to save people's lives. Nobody else wanted to help. Well, at least that's what this show painted. Nobody else. Maybe a few doctors who were called, but no one wanted to fly there. No officers, no military. Nobody sent anyone there to aid except for these railway people who basically disobeyed orders to go send aid. Yeah, I like the show. I like the show. Definitely a fascinating watch. Definitely worth it. Definitely has highs and lows, even in such dark situations. But it's definitely worth a watch. Thank you all for watching. Sorry I rambled for so long. Toodles.